Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, the Liber Imperium. Forces of the Emperor Army book. So this is the third supplement now for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, featuring all of the Imperial forces that I can think of, really, that don't fall under the Legions of Astartes or the Mechanicum sort of remit. That's going to include a lot of Forgeworld units and not a lot of plastic units. Really not a lot of plastic units. I think the Sisters of Silence, the basic Custodes troopers are really the only plastic kits in here. And for the vast majority of what's in here, you're looking at Forgeworld models. So much like the Mechanicus list, you can kit bash, you can do some conversions and stuff like that, obviously, to try and make yourself a a plastic army. But you're really jumping into the resin stuff here. But that being said, the miniatures are beautiful. I mean, look at this storming of this ship by Horus and his sons of Horus. It's a very cool looking diorama they've made here. They've photoshopped in all the lights and the space background. Got these beautiful militia, units. These are the Imperial militia, sort of like getting shot up and destroyed. And then you've got this, I think, a boarding craft. It doesn't look like a Sisters assault ram. It's something like that though, like landed and, oh no, it's an Argus, I think, actually landed backwards, dropping off all these troops. All right, so what's in here? Now, a lot of times when I do these reviews, people want to know what's changed, good and bad, compared to like the old version of Horus Heresy. I feel like this version of Horus Heresy, at this point in it, we need to admit that this is a complete kind of like once-over of the game. So comparing old stat lines to new stat lines isn't super useful in that you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing a game that's kind of been like power scaled all the way back to its bare bones from scratch. So I'm not going to comment too much on power scale, more how it fits into the power scale of what's available now, not like what it used to be. And obviously, not every unit's going to be in here. The auxilia are going to be missing, like everybody's going to be missing stuff. And there's a simple reason for that. They're going to put it in the PDF. 9 times out of 10, the extended units and stuff are going to be in the PDF. This is once again all, as they say, core units. So if you want to quickly, at a glance, know what's in this book versus what isn't, the Custodes list, you've got a Valdor, the Tribune, and a Shield Captain, Heteron Guard, Aquilon Terminators, so not, very importantly, not the plastic Terminators, only the resin ones. Contemptor Achilles Dreadnoughts, Custodian Guard Squad, Sentinel Guard Squad, so that's the one plastic unit there, the Custodian Guard. Cronus Grav Carriers, Agamatus Jet Bikes, Pallas Attack Speeders, Custodian Venatari, Sagittarium Guard Squads, Caladius Grav Tank, Contemptor Galatis Dreadnoughts, Telemons, Orion Assaults, Dropships, and Ares Gunships. So you'll notice not a lot of plastics in here. Mostly all resin, just the squad itself. There's no Heralds, there's no Terminators, there's no Contemptor Dreadnought that's like a normal Contemptor Dreadnought, which is funny because in Burning of Prospero, the Contemptor Dreadnought plastic was made to go with the Custodes, I'm pretty sure. No, actually, no. It was the Word Bearer one. But you could use the plastics originally too. Sisters of Silence, kind of the same thing. Genisha Cole, the Knight Abyssal, the Knight Centura, a Silent Judge, a Silent Fury, Questora Cadre, Raptora Cadre. It's really just the Eradicators, Prosecutors, and Vigilators, which are the plastic box set that are in here. And that's it. And then you get the Vigilator Cadre, Charon Pattern Acquisitor, Pursuer Cadre, Firebrand Cadre, Subjugator Cadre. Those are the plastic ones, which have the guns. And then the Termite Assault Drill, Sanctioner Cadre, and Expurgator Cadre. Actually, I think just the Firebrand Cadre is the gun one. Some of these are resin. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but I know that the Vigilator and Prosecutors, I think, are plastics. I think it's the Firebrand. It's basically Flamers, Bolters, Swords are the plastic ones, and then there's some special weapons in there too, some bits. For the Auxilias, it's Tertios, Cohort Doctrines are like your formation again, and then you have your unit types, Legate Marshal, the Command Tertio, the Velateris Tertio, the Medicae section, Surgeon Primus special character, Avis Joven, Carinite Ogren section, an Auxilia Infantry Tertio, the Dracosan Armored Transport, Aurochs Transport, and Arvis Transport, and then you got your Lightning, Fighter, and Thunderbolt. I think Flyers too, which is cool. And then an Auxilia Armored Tertio and Artillery Tertio, the Malcador, an Armored Battery, a Valdor, a Cyclops, another Malcador and Furnace, and then a Stormhammer. So again, you get a Stormhammer, and everything's resin. And then the Divisio Assassinorum, you get the plastics, which is cool. So you get Clade Operatives, you get the Vindicator, the Calyxus, the Calidus, and the Eversor. And then the new resin ones, the Venus, Venenum, and the Adamus, which I'm really excited about because the models are awesome, and I'm painting up the info site already. And that's it. Those are the units that are actually in this book. You can expect if it wasn't mentioned, it's probably going to be in the extended PDFs at some point. So let's take a look at the units. Again, I'm not going to do page by page here, guys. This is an enormous book. We're going to focus on the sort of like interesting bits. So the same sort of stuff from the beginning of all these books. You have your allies formation. Now, the one thing with this book is that you kind of have to be loyal. You've got Force of the Imperium, Loyalist or Traitor. They're the Imperiums, so they're kind of all Loyalist. The only one that can be Traitor is the Solar Auxilia. I think they're allowed to go both sides, but like when you get to the rest of these units, there's nobody else. So the Allegiance of the Custodes is always Loyalist. And your Warlord traits, you've got 3 of them. There's the Golden Exemplar. Any combat with at least one friendly model within 12 Warlord with this trait, or a combat that includes a Warlord with this trait, gets +1 to the number of wounds caused. In addition, while engaged in a challenge, a Warlord with this trait gets +1 attacks and initiative. Because he's the golden boy, the golden hero. And then that's the Warlord trait that you get, that's the special one. And then you've got your Custodes special rule. So when you are Custodes, you get the Nemesis units. Basically are things that you are trying to hunt down. It's anything that's like big and scary. Your job is to go kill that thing because it could threaten the Emperor, and you get bonuses when you fight them. So when you're fighting someone that counts as a Nemesis unit, so it's any of the following unit subtypes: Primarch, Dreadnought, Monstrous, Reinforced, Bombard, Demon, Corrupted, Super Heavy, Unique, or Knight. Corrupted is interesting because it's like the entire word bearer army basically you get this against. Potentially, because lots of demons. And the majority of models that have a value of 5 or more in any of these characteristics, so weapon skill, skill, wounds, or initiative, so all the elite units basically, or you're a Warlord. You count as being Nemesis. If you're locked in combat with them, you get +1 attack. If a unit composed entirely of models of the special rule gains an additional +1 to charge rolls when you target them, because you're going to go after them. And when rolling to hit against them, you never need to roll worse than a 4+. Unless the Nemesis unit is composed entirely of models with a Primarch unit type, or the attacking model is in a challenge with a model that has the Primarch unit type. So basically you can't use this to get around the fact that it's really hard to hit Fulgrim. You know, like there's some guys that you're just not gonna fight so good. And then we're into units. All right, Constantine Valdor, he's not quite a Primarch, but he's just about there. He's as close to being a Primarch as you can be without being an actual Primarch. 350 points. He's movement 8, because he's got real long legs. Weapon skill 7, so he's about as fighty as a Primarch can be. Bliss skill 5. Strength toughness 5, obviously he's crafted at a slightly lower level, 5 wounds. Initiative 6, 5 attacks, leadership 10, 2+ save. He's a Primarch. His unit type is Primarch, interestingly enough. He's not actually a Primarch, but he kind of counts as a Primarch. Constantine Valdor sits at the right hand of the Emperor as perhaps his most trusted companion and guardian, a watchman of inviolable purpose. Such as, in fact, is Valdor's martial prowess and superhuman skill, that those are, even within the Imperial Corp, those that whisper that have called him a Primarch in all but name. This is noted a disingenuous claim, as for all the power Valdor was made and trained to serve a different purpose. So he's not actually a Primarch, but they give him the Primarch rule, because effectively all of like the triggers for being a Primarch would apply to him, like being able to like call all his shots. Anything a Primarch can do in the rules, it makes sense this guy can do too. So I actually really like that. It's a really subtle thing, but having him count as a Primarch gives him a bunch of like bonuses I think he deserves. His weapons are the Apollyon Spear. He's got a Misericord. He's at the Corinthian Warplate. So his spear is +2 strength, so strength 7, AP 2. Melee, Specialist, Lightning Blow 6+, he gets exploding attacks on a 6, and Murderous Strike 4+ for his instant death. And then he can shoot his Hypervelocity Bolter with 18-inch range, strength 5, AP 2, Assault 2, and Concussive 1, so it possibly pins people. Or so reduces their initiative. The Warplate's a 2+ armor save and a 3+ invulnerable save all the time. So he's not quite Primarch tough, but that 3+ invul is huge. In addition, any model with a Loyalist allegiance that can draw line of sight with to Valdor, or if they're locked in combat with Valdor, like leading them, they can use his leadership characteristics. They use his leadership at 10. And then he's got Frag, Melta, and an Array Shrike, which is a weapon we'll talk about in the back here. There's a bunch, the one thing that's really handy when you're doing these reviews, a lot of times the silk little bookmark isn't super handy. When you're doing these reviews and you need to look up the special rules for the army, being able to mark the appendices is super handy. So he has an Arathe. It's in the equipment section. Special rules. Close combat. Here it is. Arathe. Array Shrike. It is modeled with an array strikes on the battlefield. When an enemy player declares a deep strike, assault, or flanking assault, any roll to see if the assault or flanking assault is disordered suffers -1. So basically, ones count as twos, and twos count as ones. Yeah, so he basically can make people scatter or be disorganized more often. And then the teleport transponder array allows you to put him and other people in deep strike basically without any special detachment being required, because he's Constantine Valdor, man. He shows up where he wants to, and that's why it's 125 points, because you can basically throw him and other people into reserve. And as long as you have the Custodes subfaction and you include one or more models with this thing, they may select up to 3 units for each model with a transponder. That's also part of the detachment, and they must have no more than 5 models before being joined by any unit with the independent character Legion rule. So basically, he can join a unit, and then 2 other units can still come as well, and they will deep strike on. So, yeah. Custodes counterattack 1, so if you charge him, he gets extra attacks. He has 6 attacks, lightning blows 6+, and loyalist. He is a bad boy. He's all killer, no filler. And a Tribune is also 300 points, and is really, really good. Now, Tribunes are basically bigger shield captains. You can have to 1 in your army. It's like a Praetor for Custodes, right? If the Custodians march to war, this guy's leading a group of shield captains. He's 300 points. He's not a Primarch, but he's got a Guardian Spear, a Misericord, Orc Battle Plate, Frag and Melta, and an Airy Shrike as well. And he's got Independent Character, Tribune, Eternal Warrior, Fearless, Bulky, 3+, Resilient, and Loyalist. All that stuff, like the Eternal Warrior and the Fearless and stuff, and Relentless, are all tied to the Primarch rule for Constantine, that's why he doesn't have them. Tribune of the Golden Legion, a model of the special rule can be included in the primary detachment of an army with a total value of at least 3,000 points. You can't bring him unless you're playing at least 3,000 points. You'll be playing a full game. Furthermore, unless Constantine Valdor is in your army, this guy has to be your warlord, because unless you're the Emperor, you answer to this guy, basically. Or a Primarch, you answer to this guy. And you can take an Archeo Pistol, Presidium Shield, or the Transponder Array. So he's if you don't want to use Valdor, use the Tribune instead. Most of this stuff is going to do what you would assume it does in the Marine Army. We'll look quickly, because I'm going to go to the equipment quickly just to look at the weapons, the melee weapons in particular, because they're kind of key for these guys. But a lot of what's in here is the same as in the Marine armies, right? So it's not really, there's not a lot of new stuff here, right? Like a Gravis autocannon's a Gravis autocannon. It's not going to change. It's their Guardian weapons. Here we go. This is what I want to look at. So Guardian Spear, +1 strength, AP2, melee, two-handed and reaping blows. So he gets bonus attacks against big units. The Axe is +3 strength, AP2, but it's unwieldy. Sentinel Warblade is just user strength, AP2 melee, so it's kind of basic. Everything's Assault 2 Shred for their guns. They're all strength 4, AP4. The Pyrethite Spear is the one that's got a Melta on it, so it's 8-1, Assault 1, and then Armor Bane, and that's just a Guardian Spear. Or the Addersight Spear, which is strength 5, AP3, Assault 1, instant death, because it's a Disintegrator, and then Armor Bane ranged and he gets hot. The Paragon Glaive's 5, AP4, Assault 2 Shred, but it's got the big Reaping Blow, so +1 strength, AP2, two-handed Reaping Blow, 1 and Murderous Strike 5+. And the Venatari Lance is 7 AP4, Assault 3, Rending 6+. It's like a little baby assault cannon. And then +1 strength, AP2, melee, two-handed. It's basically a Guardian Spear on top of that. So, yeah, pretty great. And then you've got your Solarite weapons, which are your basically like your Power Fists and stuff. The Power Gauntlets, strength 10, AP1, melee, unwieldy. The Power Talon, strength 5, AP2, Shred. So it's got the like the Lightning Claws thing. And then the Power Lance is 10, AP1, melee, Armor Bane, melee. Two-handed and Sudden Strike 3. So you get initiative +3 when you're using the ones on bikes. So for 300 points, Tribune's pretty cool. Custodian Shield Captain's also pretty cool for 200 points. He's basically just a light version of the... He's as good as a... I mean, he's still better than like a Praetor. He's amazing. Movement 8, weapon skill 6, 5s across the board, and then 3 wounds and a 2+ save. Auric Battle Plate, I guess is probably worth talking about. It's basically just a 2+4+. That's in the equipment section. Auric Battle Plate. There it is, yeah, 2+4+. Auric Demi Plate is 3+6+. It's the one that the light dudes, like the guys that jump packs, carry. Get access to all the cool weapons. Heteron Guard. So these are the guys with the swords, and they have Auric Warplate and a Misericord. Now their Meridian swords are pretty cool. They're special ones, which means I have to flip back to here again to look at all the weird gear they carry. I think they're in the other section, because of course there's an other section. Is there a Meridian weapon section? Oh, Meridian swords, there we go. They have fighting styles. These guys are like the sword dancers. They can Raptor spreads its wings, which is Rampage 3. Grasp the Rainbow Serpent, which is Strength 10 AP 1. Melee, two-handed, Measured Strike, instant death. Now, Measured Strike, oh god, the flipping LM. A model attack with a weapon or profile that has a special rule can only make a single attack regardless of your attack value or if you charged. Because you're basically doing one perfect hit. And then Hands That Cut the Clouds, +1 Strength AP 2, and it's Murder Strike 4+. So these guys have like a sword for every job, a stabber for every roll. If you have no more than 6, you can go into Cronus. And then you can take up to 7 more. So it's 3 guys for 225 points, but they have the standard elite custodian stat line where you basically have an extra attack. So, I mean, everybody's a Space Marine captain, right? 8 movement, 5/5, strength toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 5. These guys have 4 attacks instead of 3. And they can all take Presidium shields if they want, or a Vexilla. Or Sentinel Warblades and Vexilla, and they can have like all the melee weapons. You can just arm them however you want, but the Meridian swords are like their thing. So you're gonna basically take the Meridian swords. What's cool though is you can take the Presidium shields on top of the Meridian swords for 10 points each, and they don't replace them because it's just any model that doesn't have a Magisterium Vexilla. So you'd probably not, like, unless you want to give them the Vexilla and a Magisterium Vexilla. I'm going to pull up now. A unit that includes at least one model with this may reroll all failed leadership tests, I think leadership 10, and may add +1 to the score to decide if any friendly unit within any model within 12 of wins a combat. So basically you add +1 combat res to all the combats within 12 of you. But you only benefit from 1, regardless of how many are there. So you can't have extra ones. And then the Presidium Shield. So 5+ invul save, you already have a 4+. In addition, a model of the Presidium Shield cannot claim bonus attacks for having more than 1 melee weapon, or make attacks during the assault phase using a weapon with the 2-handed special rule. So, yeah, there's really not a point of having one. Yeah, I can't see any reason having a Presidium Shield for that unit. I guess you could take the Presidium Shield and have like one of these other weapons. That might make sense. But if you have the Meridian swords, there's really no reason to do it. All right, Aquilon Terminators, 3 for 290. Their big jam is they have bulky 4+, bulky 4, Chosen Warriors, Relentless, Stubborn, Loyalist. They get the Last from Stormbolter, Solar Power Gauntlet, that 10 AP1, and Aquilon Terminator armor, which is slightly different from a regular Terminator armor. Aquilon. 2+4+. It's exactly the same as Auric Battle Plate. So, but it's not slow, right? So these guys are kind of like Cataphracti that don't get slowed down by their armor. And they can have Infernus Fire Pikes, the Power Talithans, and a twin-linked Adrathic Destructor. What does that do now? Twin-linked Adrathic Destructor. Is there an Adrathic weapon section? No. Oh my god, the names. Infernus Fire Pike, though, is 6, AP 6, heavy 1. Torrent 9, so they get Torrent 9 inches. That's pretty cool. They can place the template within 9. So a decent, like, potential. I think the template's almost like 8 inches long, so you're talking about like an 18-inch range gun. And then, what was the other one I said? The Twin-linked Adrathic Destructor. Oh, they do have a section, Adrathic Weapons, which are not alphabetically placed. You'd think the A would come first. LMPVA. It is 5 AP3 Assault 1 Instant Death Armor Bane Range Gets Hot. It's basically a Disintegrator, because why not have Disintegrators? We're talking about Custodes here. Contemptor Achilles, he's a 4-attack Contemptor, weapon skill 6, which is amazing. BS 5. He's got his Corvée Las Pulsar, and then a Gravis Power Fist with a built-in Lastrum Stormbolter, and an automatic deflector, so he's kind of like a standard. He can take the Twin Link Daedrathic Destructor, which is cool, and the Infernus Incinerator, so he can take the same weapons the other guys have. What does his Corvus Las Pulsar do? It's in the laser weapons, I bet. Under L? Yep. Corvus Las Pulsar, 9 AP3, Heavy 3. That's a pretty great Las cannon. It doesn't have like armor bane or anything though. Nope, just Heavy 3. Just a cool laser gun. And then here's your plastics. Custodian Guards. They are weapon skill. They're basically, it's an army of, whatchamacallits, the Centurions. It's 150 points, weapon skill 5, bliss skill 5, strength 5, toughness 5, 2 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 9. So, yeah. They're infantry, skirmish, and line. Skirmish is actually pretty cool for them. And they are bulky 3, chosen warriors, relentless, stubborn, loyalist, guardian spears, misericordia, orc, warplate, frag, and melta. And run as melta bombs. And no more than 6 can take a Cronus as a transport. 7 more, 45 points each. And they can exchange their guardian spears for pyrethites, adresites, or guardian axes. And then 1 guy can take a Magisterium Vexilla. That's it. So those are your plastics. That's your plastic squad right there. And the troops, obviously. Other troops. Sentinel Guard squads. These are just the same guys with shields. They got Sentinel Warblades and Presidium shields, so no mixing and matching like you can in 40k. And they can take Solarite Power Talons or Power Gauntlets. They can explain. Basically, you can have Punch Fists and shields, which is cool. They've got Auric Warplate, so again, I don't know why you take the shield, because you have a 4+ invul base. Did I miss something? Like it's only against shooting or something like that, and that's why you take it? Nope, just 2+, 4+. Why would you take the Presidium shield in this army? Like, it's not like it's -1 AP, because there's no AP in this game. 5+ invulnerable save. And you just pick one. In addition, a model Presidium shield cannot claim the bonus for having more than 1 melee weapon or making attacks during the assault phase using weapon with the 2-handed special rule. There's literally no reason to have it. Unless, like... Yeah, I don't know why you take it. Presidium shields confers a 5+ invulnerable save. Your Auric Warplate already gives you a 4+ invulnerable save. I mean... Yeah, I don't know. If it still gave you +1 invulnerable save, like if it gave you a 3+ invulnerable save, I'd say they're amazing. But I don't know why you would ever take Sentinel Guard. They have like an inferior melee weapon. I guess because you can have the Power Fists and stuff. But you've got Auric Warplate, so... And you've got a 4+ invulnerable save. I don't know why you would ever take them. I don't get it. I'm missing something, obviously. Tell me in the comments what you think I'm missing, because something doesn't make sense about that. Cronus Grab Carrier, this is your transport, 180. I like this model actually a lot. But it's funny because I don't like it from above. It's very smooth from above. I love seeing it from below, like in this picture, because you can see all of its like guns and grab gizmos. Twin-mounted Lastrum Bolt Cannons, twin-linked Arachnus Blaze Cannon. What's an Arachnus Blaze Cannon do? I bet it's something melty. And does it have a section? No. Melta weapons? No. Las weapons, Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon, 9-1, Heavy 2, Lance, Exoshock 6+, sweet. And a Magna Blaze 1, Strength 10 Destroyer. That's wicked. And then a Lastrum Bolt Cannon. Lastrum Bolt Cannon is 6 AP4, Heavy 4, Shred for reroll wounds. That's cool. And it's got 1 access point at the rear. It can deep strike. What? No big deal. Just deep striking. Or outflank, Loyalist. Power the Machine Spirit. Yeah, that's a pretty great 180 point transport. Can transport 18. I mean, 6 because you're bulky 3. And it's supposed to go 5 movement 16. Whew, 13, 12, 10. It's a cool vehicle. All right, your jet bikes. Again, these are all the Forgeworld jet bikes, not the plastic ones. Agamanus jet bikes, you get 3 for 265. You get a 3rd wound on those guys. Only 1 attack though. Only 1 attack. I mean, they're dudes riding bikes. They should at least have their base attack profile of like 2 or 3. They have Solarite Power Lances, Misericordias, Melta Bombs, Auric Demi Plates. They've got the 3+, 4+. And then Custodes Gear Falcon jet bikes. So Custodes Gear Falcon jet bike I think just gives you a bunch of like speeding around options. Gear Falcon jet bike. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I bet the Cyber Familiar still gives you +1 invulnerable save. Yup. Oh, come on, Presidium Shield, get better. Gear Falcon Jet Bike is not there. So the Aaron's Jet Bike is there. EF Gravis Presidium Shield is there. What? Gear Falcon Jet Bike. Gear Falcon Jet Bike. Nope. What? I mean, the other Jet Bike's here. Gear Falcon Jet Bike. Am I just blind? Grenades. And then Magisterium Vexillum. The Aaron's Jet Bike's here. They have snare cannons. I don't see Gear Falcon Jet Bike anywhere in here. Oh, there it is. Custodes Gear Falcon Jet. Come on. Has one Laster Bolt Cannon. In addition, when you run, you get Shrouded Butt Plus. And then you change your unit type if you're going to be taking one for a character. Okay. I guess, you know what, to be fair, I did say Custodes Gear Falcon Jet Bike. I should have just read the whole thing. You take an Adrathic Devastator and a Corvée Las Pulsars upgrades. And they got Hammer Wrath 1, Deep Strike, Outflank, and Loyalist. And I mean, the Solar Power Lance is amazing, so I guess having one attack isn't terrible. You charge to 2. But it just seems low for Custodes. And then Attack Speeders for 60 points. 11, 11, 10, 3 hull points. They've got a centerline mounted twin-linked Arachnus Blaze Cannon and a Flare Shield. Weird that it has a vehicle stat line. Honestly, feels weird. A lot of the land speeders now don't have that stat line, and it's really cheap and kind of very easy to kill. I don't know, most of the other, and you can take 2 additional Palace Attack Speeders for 60 points. Most of the other speeders in the game now have like a Strength Toughness instead. It's a bit odd. Venatari for 230. 3 Venatari, these are the jump guys in fast. You can take a Lance for 10 points. They've got their Kinetic Destroyers, Tarsus Bucklers, Misericordias, Jump Harnesses, Orc Demi-Plates, so 3+, and then Frag and Melta. They get Deep Strike Base, Basic Custodes stat line. What's it called? Kinetic Destroyer. What does a Kinetic Destroyer do? Is it under Kinetic Weapons, or is it a Bolt Weapon? It is maybe got its own weapon. Yeah, there we go. Architect Weapon. Strength 7, AP 4, Pistol 3, Rending 6+. That's cool, it has Rending. So it goes to AP 2. 12-inch range. They're the Pistol Bros. Sagittarium, they've got Adradus Bolt Calivers, which are the... not under bolt weapons. Huh? Adradus Bolt Caliver is not a bolt weapon. He said, question mark. Adradus Bolt Cannon. Combi weapons, heavy weapons. I can't. Oh, it's there. Okay. Exotic weapon. Adradus Bolt Caliver. It is bolt volley, so it's got a disintegrator built into it. So 24-inch range, strength 5, AB2, assault 1, instant death gets hot 1-shot. So they're basically 1-shot disintegrators. And then the Bolt Caliver's volleys are 36-inch range, 5, AB4, assault 4. That's horrifying. They can have a transport, and they don't have the jump packs. They're the dudes like super bolters, these guys right here. And they're weird Pickelhauben helms, and they're heavy sport. The Caladius Grav Tank, 225 points, 13, 13, 11, 4 hull points. Feels squishy. Turret mounted Elastius Accelerator Cannon, so it's got like kind of a super version of the Accelerator Autocannon. Where is it? It's under bullet weapons. Elastius Accelerator Autocannon, there you go. 40-inch range, 8 AP3, heavy 3, rending 6+, brutal 2, and twin linked. Twin Laster Bolt Cannon and a Flare Shield, because of course it does. That makes it a lot tougher. And then you can exchange its main gun for an Arachnus Blaze Cannon. Contemptor Galatis, this is the other one with the Warblade and the shield. So it has a Presidium Shield for a 5+ invul in melee, I guess. But it's, sorry, a 4+ melee, because it's a Gravis Presidium Shield. And Galatis Warblade with built-in Infernus Incinerator. What's an Infernus Incinerator do? It's probably an Infernus Incinerator. Is a flame weapon? Oh, it's just a heavy one template. It's a heavy flamer. But the gun, Galatis Warblade, Solar Weapons, Thunder Fist, Exotic, Galatis Warblade, Galatis? Strength 8, AP2, melee instant death. Just causes instant death, no big deal. That's pretty cool for his dread. 235 points. And then the bigly boy, the Telemon, 365, everybody's favorite. Basically the Custodes version of the Leviathan. Strength toughness 8, 8 wounds, 2+ save. Automatic deflectors, get the 4+ invul, I'm pretty sure. Airy Shrike, Scipulus bolt launcher, and then 2 Telemon Cestus with built-in Proteus plasma projectors. Where is it? The Telemon Cestus, strength 10, AP2, melee specialist Sunder. Give it instant death. Come on, look at those hands. And then can take an Arachnid Storm Cannon or Elastus Accelerator Culverin, which does what? That's an exciting sounding weapon. Illustrious something. Sometimes you just don't know what section it's going to be in because the name is just so bananas. Illustrious, Lastrum. Nope, it's over here. Culverin, 24-inch range, strength 8, AP3, heavy 4, rending 6+, brutal 2. Sure thing. And then the Orion dropship is 600 points, carries 24 guys or 8 guys. If we're talking regular Custodes. And then it's 13, 12, 11, flyer, hovering, lumbering, transport. It's basically like their baby Thunderhawk. 2 Arachnus heavy blaze cannons, 2 hull-mounted twin Lastrum bolt cannons, a hull-mounted Scipulus heavy bolt launcher, and an Eclipse shield. Has an access point in the rear. And that's a Custodes. So again, a fairly limited selection of models from the plastic range, which I was surprised by. Like, why not give people the option of taking the Terminators and taking the bikes? I don't see the problem with that. I don't see why you would cut them out. Like, the Custodian Guard Squad obviously stays in there, but like, why not let them take the Terminators? I don't know. There's not that much crossover. They're like legitimately, I love the Gru vehicle. They're like legitimately 30K miniatures, and they just don't get used. It just feels weird, feels off. Maybe, I'm hoping they're in the extended PDF, because then I can just use my Custodes army and give it a try in Heresy. I think that'd be fun. But as of right now, I can't. So to make these videos not so crazy long, I'm going to finish the first part of the book review right here, and you can click to go check out the Sister Silence part up here in the cards. Big thanks for watching. Thanks, I'm Ash. Happy gaming. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.